Hey neighbor, welcome back to ARTV. My name is John and today I'll be counting down 7 of the most overlooked and underrated songs by the heavy metal band System of a Down. They're one of my favorite bands of all time, and even though they still remain extremely popular 15 plus years after the release of their last albums, I still think that even the most massively popular bands can have underappreciated gems. System remains one of the most unique groups I've ever listened to for a myriad of different reasons. For starters, Serj Tankian and Daron Malakian have some of the most off-the-charts insane vocal chemistry known to man. John Dolmayan is a beast of a drummer, and of course the politics and sarcasm in their lyrics make them stand out from the pack in pretty much every way imaginable. From their early days after transitioning over from the Soil early moments and the demo tapes to Mesmerize and Hypnotize, let's take a closer look at some of, keyword some of, not all of, their most underrated diamonds that deserve to be on your radar. You can listen along at the full YouTube playlist that I've linked down below, and if you'd like to see a part 2 of this in the future, help support the channel with a like on this video.
She's like heroin, sipping through a little glass. I'm looking for some help.
When the off-kilter vocals get even more off-kilter, we have number 7, She's Like Heroin. This is a song that I've really come to like, not just because of the weird ass shouts followed by selling ass for heroin. I mean, there's more to it than that. Yes, there's commentary and we'll get into that, but I think a lot of people dismissed this track because they saw it as just either silly or not as great as some of their other kind of wild moments like this. The vocals are definitely manic here, and they're a big part of why it works for me, but I also do love the subject matter. It seems to be a commentary on drug addiction and of course prostitution as well, selling ass for heroin. It talks about what are you gonna do to get your next fix of either drugs or sex, I suppose. This song is definitely more than just ass, but of course at surface level, if you want to see it that way, fine. It still absolutely slams, even though it's one of the poppier cuts they ever released.
Pushing little children with their fully automatics. They like to push the weak around. Pushing little children!
Some of my favorite Serj Tankian vocals ever live on this performance, because at number 6, we have Deer Dance from Toxicity. What a song here. It opens with some thrashy guitars. It just pounds you right away. I'm stoked that I got to see this performed live at Sonic Temple Festival in 2019 because it definitely slammed home in a different way in that setting. But I've always loved this song, considered it one of my favorites. I love the political angle, I love the music, and overall, I think it still holds very true. It talks about the bigger people, the police state, if you will, in certain countries, maybe even America, pushing the weak around with their fully automatics, and what do you know? So many other messages that they warned us about, they're happening more and more. There's so many layers to this song, which leaves a lot to unpack. It opens up in a much more aggressive way than it ends, and then of course we do get these kind of haunting, almost beautiful vocals that linger and then just kind of carry us out. Number 5, Temper, from their second demo tape they released in 1996, one of their only releases with their original drummer because John Dolmayan joined the year after that. I don't think too many people are going to disagree when I call this underrated because it's one of 3 songs on this demo. You might also know of Honey and Soil, a title track in a way since they originally had their band named that in the early to mid 1990s. This opens up and has throughout a tantalizing bass groove to it. It's something that you really focus in on, and I won't say that Shavo always has a ton of those, but he definitely does some great work here. The vocals are more mellow in places, but think of it like a tiger waiting to pounce. It could catch you right now, but instead it's gonna kind of like let the prey get away a little bit, think that they've got a head start, maybe they've got a chance, and then no, he clamps down and just absolutely hits you over the head. And then that lightning strike, it backs off a little bit for certain sections of the song. It's anti-war, that much is for sure. It's System of a Down, so of course they're out here on the front lines of these social justice causes. I just have to say that they've been doing it their entire career, so it's not like something that, oh, they became a political band. Bitch, they've always been one. Pounding drums and an explosive fury of screams from Serj Tankian definitely sell me on this one. There's a lot to like about it, and even though I wouldn't call it one of their absolute best songs, for the early days, this is something that you should definitely check out.
I'll go down in history with a sad Statue of Liberty.
Number 4, Sad Statue from MEZMERIZE. I was kind of shocked to see that this was one of the least played songs from the entire double album of MEZMERIZE, HYPNOTIZE, but hey, even their least streamed songs, I mean, they still have millions, and I think that says something about System of a Down. The fact that they weren't even active during the streaming era, and like their least streamed stuff still has like 10 million streams? Awesome! Sad Statue has a vicious riff that is among the best of the entire double album. It gets stuck in your head so quickly. I love the vocals, the little chants that they work in. It has a great pre-chorus, a build-up to it, and then that drop into the actual hook. That little 15 seconds to 20 seconds, if I could just sit there and loop that over and over and over again, I would. Here I think System are saying that the Statue of Liberty is sad because it sees the liberty has gone right out the window, what the founding fathers wanted for us. Instead, it's the government sowing discord among its people, and if you didn't believe it back in 2005, just look at our world today. I almost forgot to mention, but I cannot leave out, the vocal harmonies on the chorus are ridiculously good. I already said it was super catchy, it gets ingrained in your head, but the way that Serge and Darren sound together here is absolute ecstasy.
Time feels like a midnight ride. Finality waits outside.
Before I move forward with talking about this one, you are probably going to want to listen to Roulette directly after THETAWAVES, because otherwise you're just going to have like a sharp drop off into like nothingness. It almost feels like a man is pleading in a courtroom on THETAWAVES, as Serge really sells this emotional vocal performance. He talks about lines like "all rise like a courtroom" and then "eyes bound." I think that those, of course, would evoke that, but beyond that, we get this storming feeling from the guitars that feel like they're up against an army. They have a message to deliver, and it doesn't matter how many people are getting in the way, they're gonna storm the gates, and the guitars really push that idea home. They're adamant here about the carbon footprint that man has left on this planet, something that cannot be undone because we're not willing to change our ways, and it's already too late as it is. Climate change isn't something that was exactly popular to talk about in the early to mid 2000s. It's definitely become a campaign that people have rallied behind, but in those days, System were writing so many songs about nature. Just look at Toxicity and Steal This Album. You can't count on one hand how many songs they were writing about that.
Sweet little boy, let me show you the ways of mine.
Hello, my name's Johnny. Hello, my name's Roger. What am I doing here? I don't fully understand what this song is about. It further accents their eccentric personalities, if you will allow that bad pun. I think that the accents on this track are quite intriguing. I mean, it definitely is all over the place, and indeed, at number 2, we have Johnny from the special or else international edition of Toxicity. Roger and Johnny are the two main culprits in this story. We kind of get to hear a little bit of their negativity, their complaining, and it makes sense that this would be a representation of the assholes of the world that think it revolves around them, and that their problems are more important than anybody else's. But I have seen an interesting theory floating around about this track being about DID, dissociative identity disorder, and that would be really intriguing if that were true. Again, I'm not going to sit here and say that I fully understand the meaning of every song that System has written, because they can be kind of complex, kind of thickly layered and dense to dive into. But on this track, I just see this tornado-like path that it's able to leave behind it in just 2 minutes. I mean, I wish it was a little bit longer, but the destruction speaks for itself. Alright everyone, quiet on the set please. Can we clear everybody? Okay. Mood lighting please? Okay. Alright everyone, it's time to polka up with System of a Down! This song should not work this well, but indeed at number 1, we have from their self-titled System of a Down album released in 1998, PEEPHOLE. There's a mysterious guitar that swerves us into this track, but it feels like that swerving crashes us straight into a carnival tent. I mean, imagine Serge Tankian with a top hat serving as the ringmaster for our drug binge that we're about to go on. "Don't get stuck in the sky" is the phrase that we keep hearing cycle through this song. And I think that most likely refers to opioid abuse and of course overdosing on drugs. Don't get so high that you're stuck out there. But even further past that, it seems to look into why people do drugs and get addicted to alcohol and other substances in the first place. Why do they do it? They want an escape from reality. It serves as a layered warning with some great music to boot. The little guitar solo kicks off and then the tuba cycles back in and I'm like, wait a minute, who invited you to this party? Except, you know what? I'm not even gonna ask you to leave because I've kinda come to accept and love you. And then the guitar break continues on and it gets even more dominant, and I'm like, this is fantastic. We've got some wicked wicked tuba. Thanks so much for tuning into my countdown of 7 of the most underrated System of a Down songs. Let me know what you thought of my list and what you might add for a potential part 2 in the future. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you happen to be new to my channel. Did you happen to catch my top 10 System of a Down songs? If not, then tap here, or maybe you'd just like to revisit it. If you didn't see me rank all of their albums, then tap this card here, or you can connect with me on social media at any of these links that you see here, including my Patreon at the top links in the description down below. Outside of that, I will see you soon for more right here on ARTV.